bro. I'm 22.
More like 22 years since his last divorce, or 22 years in prison. Jokes aside, this guy seems happy, but while everyone wants big muscles, not everyone can handle the big side effects. When people think about the downsides of steroids, they mainly focus on heart problems or gyno. But not many worry about what happens to every steroid user: premature aging. That's why you see so many athletes looking 10 years older than they actually
Trent twins, and an old man that's probably gonna tell me he's young, but alright.
are. Or, if you're unlucky, even 30 years older.
Damn.
You might have seen this freak of nature already.
Damn.
His name is Andrei Smaev, and his lifts are incredible. Inhuman strength in calisthenics, bench press, and arm wrestling. But what really makes him fascinating is how old he looks.
Though he looks a good 40, no lie. Like, honestly, 37, 38, 37 to 40 years old. Oh my God.
In just 4 years, he aged 6 times that. So what exactly caused it? There are 3
In 4 years, well, how?
main reasons why it happens. The first main effect is facial puffiness. Faces tell stories, and with steroid use, your face will reveal it all. The body may look strong and muscular, but the face becomes round, swollen, and wrinkly. But how does it happen? There are few reasons for that. Steroids change how the body manages water. Water retention means the body keeps extra fluid under the skin. When this fluid collects in the cheeks, around the jaw, and under the eyes, the face begins to look swollen. Why does that make someone look older? Because swelling hides the sharp lines that make a face look young, like a clear jawline and defined cheekbones. Steroids also affect where fat is stored. Fat redistribution means fat moves from one part of the body to another. Instead of sitting in the hips or legs, some fat may collect in the face and neck. When fat builds up in the cheeks, it pushes the skin outward and makes the face look rounder
Bulk season.
and heavier. Without visible bone structure, the face loses the firm shape often associated with youth. Steroids can build muscle even without training, and that effect is not limited to the body. The face also contains muscle. So when steroids increase overall muscle growth, the facial muscles can become thicker as well.
Oh, man.
When thicker facial muscles are combined with extra water and fat, the face starts to look weird. The result is a constant full or swollen look. Many steroid users have a lean muscular body but a puffy face. This contrast makes the aging effect even more noticeable. The skin also reacts when the face keeps swelling. Skin has collagen, the protein that keeps it firm and elastic. If the face is stretched again and again, over time collagen and the skin support system weaken. The skin stops snapping back as well as before, and fine lines and wrinkles can show up sooner than they should.
See, this is something that a lot of young guys gotta keep in mind. You know, we're not gonna talk about looks maxing. That's a completely different topic for a different video. But if you're trying to mog and you're trying to look your best and you're trying to wear the tank top or no top at the beach this summer, right? And you're thinking about taking steroids, it's something that you also have to consider is the after effects or I don't want to call it a side effect. I'm trying not to say side effect, but the other effects of steroid use, right? Sure, you might have 17, 18-inch biceps when you started at 15. However, your skin is going to age, your skin is going to get wrinkly, and all the things that you're gaining to attract the ladies, they're going to be a little bit deterred thinking that because look, let's just say you're 22. You're 22, but now you look 32. So if she's 21, she's like, ew, get away from me, old man, having no idea that 1 year separates you. You know what I mean? Just think about these things.
Luckily, most of these effects can usually be reversed by stopping steroid use, but not always.
Oh, wow.
If you have been abusing steroids for decades, don't expect a complete recovery. But if you just started, you still have time to think carefully about whether you want to go down that road. But that's just one part of the story. The next effect is even worse: hair loss. It's the single change that makes the biggest difference in how old someone looks. A person can have clear skin and a strong jaw, but when the hairline starts moving back, the face suddenly looks years older.
Wow.
Many people lose some hair naturally, and it already makes them look older. But why do steroids make this process even faster? Main anabolic steroids are artificial versions of testosterone, the main male hormone. When someone uses testosterone, some of it converts into another hormone called DHT, which plays a major role in hair loss. So what does DHT do? It attacks the hair follicles, the tiny structures in the skin where hair grows. Think of them like small factories producing hair strands. When DHT attaches to these follicles, it slowly shrinks them. Doctors call this process miniaturization, which simply means the follicles become smaller and weaker over time. What happens when a follicle shrinks? The hair it produces becomes thinner and shorter. At first, the change is subtle. The hairline may look slightly thinner or less dense. But over time, the follicles can shrink so much that they stop producing visible hair altogether. This is how male pattern baldness develops. Here's the important part. Steroids can dramatically increase DHT levels in the body. That means this shrinking process can happen much faster than normal. Someone who might have started losing hair at 40 could begin at 20 or 25.
Oh my god.
Steroids don't create the genetic tendency for baldness, but they can strongly accelerate it. Does everyone on steroids lose their hair?
Arnold.
Not necessarily. Genetics
Salute.
still matters. Some people have follicles that are more sensitive to DHT, others less. But when steroids raise hormone levels far above normal, the risk increases significantly for many users. And once hair follicles fully shrink, the change is often permanent.
Yeah.
Treatments can slow hair loss, but bringing dead follicles back is extremely difficult. That's why hair loss is often one of...
Check this out. Now, I'm pretty sure he may not pop up the ages of all these gentlemen on stage, right? But how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. And you can almost see the 6th guy over here. 5 out of the 6 have no hair. Bodies go crazy, endorsements, business deals. They get all the looks. They get the girls when they go out to the beach. You know what I mean? They don't wear shirts with sleeves on them, right? But they don't have hair, and these guys don't seem any. They're not seniors. You know what I'm saying? I know Kai Green. I know a couple of these guys, not personally, obviously. I know of them. But depending on what year this picture was taken, I would guess that none of them were over 46, 45, 46. And it's like, it's not worth it, man. He kind of briefly touched on the effects it has on the skin, but you guys got to think long term, man. I'm going to give my thoughts in a little bit. Let me let it continue.
The first and most visible long-term signs of steroid use. Another major change that affects how the face looks is skin damage. Healthy skin is one of the clearest signs of youth. When skin is smooth and free of marks, a face naturally looks younger. Many people who use anabolic steroids develop severe...
Damn! Oh my God. Gentlemen, is it worth it? Risk, reward. Pros and cons. Think about it. Even if, let's just say you're a guy and you want to take steroids and you don't want anyone to know you're on steroids. You want to be a fake natty or whatever. May I bring your attention to Exhibit A? She's gonna know, bro.
acne. It can appear on the face, chest, shoulders, and back, but when it spreads across the face, it becomes especially noticeable. But why do steroids cause acne? The main reason is hormone imbalance. Anabolic steroids raise levels of androgens, hormones that control many male traits but also affect the skin. Inside the skin are small structures called sebaceous glands.
Yes.
These glands produce oil or sebum, which normally protects and moisturizes the skin. But when androgen levels become very high, the glands overproduce oil. Too much oil creates problems. It mixes with dead skin cells and blocks the pores, the small openings where hair and oil come to the surface. Once a pore is blocked, bacteria can grow inside. The body reacts with inflammation, causing redness, swelling, and irritation. This process forms pimples, cysts, and large painful breakouts. But the biggest reason acne ages the face is not the pimples themselves, it's the scars they leave behind.
Yeah.
Severe acne can damage deeper layers of the skin. When the skin heals, it may form scars that look like small holes, dents, or rough patches. Once they appear, scars may stay permanently. Why does this matter for aging? Scars ruin skin quality.
I gotta jump in here. Look, the positive effects, whether it be working with the company of your dreams, the endorsements, the attention from women, the boost in your self-esteem, your ego, whatever, all these things definitely play a role, right? However, you also have to think, if you're the type of individual that has a skin routine, you're gonna destroy all of that. You know, I don't. Obviously, it's not going to affect everyone. Like, there's a lot of guys that go on stage and they win these competitions that have an incredible physique, and they don't have these issues with acne. And it's not permanent either. Like, it's like ebbs and flows. Like, it's part of the process. It's not something that's permanent, right? Like, look at this individual here. The picture on the left is clearly worse than the picture on the right, right? It's almost like a before and after. But at some point, you're going to go through this phase. And it's important that a lot of young guys who are thinking of going on anabolic steroids to take a little bit more time prior to making your decision, all right? Come on.
Young skin is smooth. Scarred skin becomes uneven
We're going to talk about Sam.
and rough. The
Shout out
texture
Sam.
changes, the surface loses its glow, and the face can start to look worn out and older. Even if the acne eventually disappears, you're left with scars that can last for years. If that's not enough, there's also aging you can't see. Aging of the organs, and this one is far worse than just how you look. Steroids don't only change your appearance, they can seriously damage your heart, liver, and kidneys, and this can actually kill you. It's not cosmetic, it's life-threatening. Using steroids is like running your organs at double speed.
Yes.
Everything inside your body has to work harder than normal. Over time, this extra stress can cause permanent damage. And unlike acne scars or a receding hairline, it's not something that you can just live with.
Look, I want to talk about Sam Sulek for a second. He just popped up a picture of Sam Sulek. Check this out right here. Boom. Here goes Sam Sulek, all right? Now, Sam Sulek is 24 years old. He's only 24 years old. Now, I'm bringing him up because he's on steroids and he's doing quite well for himself. He's a very successful guy, right? I don't really have anything negative to say about him at all. I've consumed his content. I've watched his videos before, and I believe that he's in a lane all on his own, right? I really like his video style, right? What he does is he'll prep you and he'll tell you what he's going to do for the day, whether it's in the title or in the monologue, the opening monologue. And he'll drive to the gym and he'll mount his camera in his car and he'll just have a conversation with you and he'll talk to you. The reason I want to bring him up here is because, look, he's 24 years old. Does he look 34? No. Why did I bring him up on the screen? When I'm watching his content and all he is doing is sitting in his car driving, right? Hand on the wheel, foot on the gas, camera mounted inside his car. While he's speaking to the camera, you can visibly and audibly hear that he sounds like he's out of breath. Like, and then, we're going to hit back. And it's like, bro, you're not walking, you're not running, you're not jogging, you're not in the middle of a set. Why are you breathing so hard? And something that just got mentioned in the video is the heart, things that you can't see, right? Keep in mind, most of us know, but a lot of us don't think about it like this, but the heart is a muscle, right? You work it out when you do cardio, right? When you do your bicep curls, you grab your dumbbell and, 4 sets of 10, 12, whatever. And after your muscles filled with blood, that pump, that's when you take your pictures, right? And you look good and you feel good. And then 2 hours later, the pump's gone. And then you keep going, and eventually your pump state becomes your rest state. And that's the motivation for most guys that hit the gym, right? But the thing is, when you're on steroids, bro, like he mentioned earlier in the video, you don't even need to lift weights for your muscles to grow. And it's like, you got to weigh the risk and reward, because at 24 years old, right, he looks amazing. Business is booming. It's just, what is his health going to be like at 44 years old, right? And perhaps, maybe I'll make another video in the future, but it's like interim versus long term. Would you rather mog and get all the girls right now and do all the business deals and then, live a shorter life? Or do you want to make decisions now and plan for the future? All right, so that's Sam Sulek. And let's bring up Larry Wheels. Larry Wheels is 31. Again, I'm not pulling him up because he looks 41, 51, but Larry Wheels is on that stuff. He's public. He's very open. He's made comments publicly that he can't have children. Now, I want to make a very important distinction that he didn't say the precise reason why he can't have children at 31, right? He didn't directly tie it to steroid use, right? So I just want to make that abundantly clear. But the bottom line is he's on steroids, and he's only 31, and he can't start a family naturally, right? Again, he did not publicly state that it's because of steroids. All right, now I want to bring up this guy. Before I bring him up, I want to make something clear. This is a natural lifter. He is an OG. He goes by the name of Chris Jones, representing Pub Chasers. Shout out to Chris Jones, man. Like, I remember the first time somebody brought me up on your content. If I had to pick one word to describe Chris Jones, it would be inspirational. Chris Jones is inspirational. He motivates you by just existing, by just, the way that he delivers his content, right? Shout out to Chris Jones. He's natural. I'm not sure exactly how old he is, but I believe he just touched 40 recently. Not on steroids, natural, in the gym heavy. And sometimes it's like a lot of content creators, for whatever reason, they have more influence over the youth than others. and you're just more drawn towards them for whatever reason, right? We can watch whoever we want to watch. It's just sometimes I believe that it's also important to seek out those that either are proven natural or push being natural. And then you make your decision as well. Because it's like, look, I just pulled up a guy that's 40, and then I can pull up a guy that's 31 on steroids and pull up a 24-year-old. Now, they all have great physiques, right? Chris Jones' channel originally was Physiques of Greatness, Pump Chasers, and now I believe it's Beast Mode Jones. Check him out. Shout out to Chris Jones, man. But anyways, make your decision. Be influenced by people who want the best for you, and at the end of the day, it's your decision. So think for yourself.
The heart is the biggest danger. Steroids force it to work harder and grow thicker, which might sound cool at first, but a thick heart can't pump blood efficiently. This raises blood pressure and significantly increases the risk of heart attacks.
Oh my
In
God.
fact, heart problems are the most common reason bodybuilders die young. Even if someone looks massive and healthy on the outside, their heart may be aging and weakening without anyone noticing.
Rich
Think of it
Piana.
like a car engine running constantly at redline.
I remember
Eventually
Rich
it will
Piana.
break down. The other organs like the liver and kidneys also take a hit. The liver works overtime to process extra hormones, and the kidneys have to filter more waste than they were designed to handle. Over time, this workload can cause permanent damage. When organs fail, it's life-threatening. And the scary part is, you might feel fine until it's too late. Even your brain isn't safe from the effects. This is where the dumb bodybuilder stereotype often comes from. It isn't necessarily that these athletes lack intelligence, it's that long-term use causes a severe form of brain fog.
Shit.
While it isn't natural biological aging itself, it creates the exact same effects, a measurable decline in cognitive function, memory and focus. Research suggests that chronic steroid use can actually
It's kind of a stigma, but I see what he's saying. It's kind of like when they call the guy the dumb jock in the movie or the show, like the guy with the big muscles and the tree trunk neck, and they create the character as if he's dumb or as if he lacks intelligence. Come on.
shrink certain areas of the brain, leading to emotional instability and a loss of mental sharpness that usually only comes with extreme old age.
Not true.
The point is simple: steroids may give you bigger muscles, but they age every part of your body. Hairlines, acne, or puffiness might make you look older, but what happens inside might actually shorten your life. Using steroids isn't just a cosmetic risk, it's a hidden serious threat you can't ignore. So what if anything from this video sounds familiar? That's a warning. You might have a big problem. If nothing feels familiar, then you're on the right track. Before you go down the rabbit hole of chasing your dream physique, think twice about the consequences. You aren't just gaining muscle, you are trading your long-term health and youthful appearance for a temporary image that your internal organs simply weren't designed to sustain. What?
Bro, he can't even barely get up and walk. I know he moves around in a walker or a wheelchair, but I didn't know it was that bad. Hold on a second.
Your dream physique, think twice about the consequences. You aren't just gaining muscle, you are trading.
Bro, y'all know who that is? That's Ronnie Coleman. Lightweight, ain't nothing but a peanut. Shout out Ronnie Coleman, man. But young guys, teenagers, early 20s, watch these guys. Look these up. Look up Ronnie Coleman. Look up lightweight, going crazy, doing deadlifts, doing everything. And then after you look up his old videos when he was younger, look up his current age, and then look up like his most recent videos. And then ask yourself, is this what I want for myself? Right? That's the beauty about being young and having access to information, right? Whether it's from your father, whether it's from your grandfather, or whether it's from athletes or people that are on a path, at the end of a path that you're trying to begin on, right? You can look at them, you can assess them, and you can ask questions, and you can observe, and you can see the future for yourself in their present, if you get my drift. So, man, Ronnie Coleman could barely, damn!
Your long-term health and youthful appearance for a temporary image that your internal organs simply weren't designed to sustain. What begins as ambition can easily turn into dependence, where maintaining the look matters more than how you actually feel. Over time, the goalpost keeps moving, and what once seemed extreme starts to feel normal, making the risks easier to ignore. But if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and check out my other videos.
Look, great video. Ultimately, to sum it up, think twice, think thrice, do your research, weigh your pros and cons, try to think long term. Try not to just get so wrapped up in the present and, you know, girls at the beach and the stares and the looks. It's going to take you longer, and I understand that slow growth is a pain in the butt, but bro, you got to look at it like this. There's a song, I wish I remember what it was called, but basically he said, You're going to be older way longer than you're going to be younger. And it's like, when you think about it, when you dissect that lyric, it's true, bro. Like, when you're born until you're about to be 18, you're considered a child. You're legally a child. But once you're 18, you're an adult, right? And you're a man, which means what? Now let's extrapolate. Let's say that the average life expectancy for a man is, I want to say 78, but let's use easy numbers, right? Let's just say 80. All right. You're going to die at 80 on average. Okay. Now it's clear. I'm not going to ask the question because it's obvious. 0 to 18 is a much shorter span than 18 to 80. You're going to be older way longer than you're going to be younger. Make good decisions when you're younger that will set you up, put you in a position to enjoy your life as you age, as you progress through this thing called life, right? You got to put yourself in a position, and you got to make good decisions now, so you'll be all right when you're older. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I understand ladies take steroids as well. Make good decisions, man. Think about it. Don't do it to yourself, because you're going to fuck around and do it to yourself.